Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're doing something a little different, a live app critic. We'll be diving into Spotify, break down the design, user experience, and usability, and look at what works, what does not, and how it can be improved. If you're a designer, developer, or just curious about how to make apps more user-friendly, you will love this. And a quick reminder, I share everything about design and tech on my YouTube channel. If you are interested on this type of content, please feel free to hit the subscribe so you won't miss any of my future content. Ever wonder what you can actually build with AI beyond just fun demos? Check out Hostinger Horizons. So whether you are an entrepreneur looking to turn your next big idea into a business or designer crafting a portfolio web that truly stand out, Hostinger Horizons is your all-in-one AI partner. Let's take a look how it works. There's no code required. Just describe your idea and Horizons instantly help you turn it into reality. So for example, I want to create a portfolio website for my creative agency. I'm going to enter my prompt here. Once you have it ready, just click on send. There we go. It created this website in just a minute. Let's take a look. This is the preview mode. So from here, you can make any adjustment. Say I wanted to turn this into a light version. I can enter the prompt here, click send. There you go. The light version is created. It looks amazing. So from there, you can make further adjustment and easily set up hosting, a domain, and email with just a few clicks. Launch your product and grow from day one. So launch the idea you have been sitting on today with Hostinger Horizons. You can use my code UB321 to get 10% off your first month. They even offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it is completely risk-free to test it out. Spotify is an audio streaming product that it has a massive library of music, podcast, and more. I think the key user problem it solves is helping users discover and find the audio content they like so they can listen to it. Its business goals are likely include user acquisition, engagement, and monetization. So it looks like the dashboard start with a top category, offer different type of audio content from music, podcast, audiobooks. And the top area looks like a selection of content that I've been listening to recently. And there's also a section called Picked for You, which has a video playing. And in the bottom, there's a floating banner, which seems like showing the podcast that I was in the middle of listening to. And the bottom navigation shows the options that I can navigate between home, search, your library, premium, and create. Overall, I think the first impression is it definitely has a big variety of content and it provides some easy navigation so that as a user, I can easily go back to where I was listening to take a closer look. How about let's take a look at a specific example. Say, for example, Amy, she's going onto the Caltrain to commute to her work, which is roughly a 30 minutes train ride. She wants to find a podcast about AI and the latest technology so that she can listening to. Let's see what she can do. From the dashboard, I'll tap on podcast. Okay, seems like it shows me basically some of the podcasts that at the top are the ones I have been listening to. In the middle, there is the big card. Looks like this is playing the live transcription of one of the episodes for the best leaders ask the right questions. This is interesting. So it's like a little preview of the episode. And then there's more content, recent, and even short form videos so that I can explore the episodes. This is interesting. It's really a big variety of different kind of content, not only podcasts, but also long form or short form videos. Since Amy has a pretty specific subject she wants to listen to, let's tap on the search button. Okay, recommended for you. Not interested. So from there, I'll just search for AI podcast. And one thing I realized is as I type, it has dynamic search recommendations, which seems helpful. Okay, so it shows me this list of recommendations, started by the cover and followed by the name of the episode, the name of the podcast, and the category, and a big button that I guess I can follow the podcast. As I scroll, you will see that it shows more recommendations of, I guess this might be like a specific episode of a certain podcast, because it shows actually how long this episode is. Like, for example, this first one is 2 hours, 32 minutes, and some more descriptions of what the specific episode is talking about. So overall, I think it feels very text heavy. It's a little bit of sense of information overload that takes a lot of reading. The perception as a user here is it's a lot of information presented in front of me, and I'm not sure how fast I can make a decision on which would be the episode I want to listen to. Going back to the top section, it is clear to me that this is a number of podcasts recommended to me on the subject, but is the information here helpful enough for me to make a decision? And also how helpful it is to present a big button here next to each podcast of follow. I think this is questionable, because as a user, if this podcast is new to me, the chance that I want to tap on follow now is relatively low, to be honest, because I am in the journey that's seeking for an interesting podcast that I can listen to. Here, some suggestions are maybe provide some more helpful metadata. For example, the first one, Everyday AI Podcast. How many users have followed this channel or listening to this channel? For example, looking at this ranking, I'm not sure what is the logics behind of this ranking. Is this both on trending, or is it based on popularity? Like maybe the first one has the most people following this channel. With the information presented here, it is not that helpful for me to make a quick decision of which podcast that I should dive into. So in this case, I'm just gonna keep scrolling a little bit. Okay, I see there's one, Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO on GPT-4. This looks interesting to me, but the date looks really dated. It shows like this episode is from 2023, so I might skip that. This seems a pretty random of combination of different episodes, started from like May 11th to yesterday, and something like from 2023, 2024. Like, what is the logic? Why am I seeing a combination of different episodes that coming from different podcasts with different lengths? Is there a way that I can filter them by popularity, by the length, so I can quickly identify something that can fit my journey of 30 minutes train ride to listen to? I don't see a filter option. And also in the bottom, this is continuing showing like what I was listening to. If I don't want to listen to this now, I think it'll be helpful to provide users an option to dismiss it. So from there, I might just tap into some of the podcasts to get a sense. For example, this one has 4.6 rating, the AI Daily Brave, and it has some of the newest episodes from yesterday. So good, looks like they're actively posting. Okay, 5 ways AI is different than past tech trends. This one looks like has 23 minutes in length, and I'll tap into it. It started by a big thumbnail of the cover image, followed by the title, then it shows the date it was posted and the length of how long this podcast. There are some icons below. I'm not sure what is this first one about. There is a plus button, a download button, a share button, and a 3 dot. And the play button on the right is pretty prominent, which I think makes sense from the information hierarchy standpoint. The description seems quite long. Probably gonna skip it. It has chapters and some comments. And before tapping into the play button, let's take a look what this little thumbnail take me to.
Now, a third way that AI is different than previous tech trends is that this is not
Interesting. So it looks like this is a short form video or reels, like a snippet of the podcast. I think it is helpful, like it gives a little preview of what this episode is about. but it's not quite intuitive to me that I was kind of unsure what it's going to take me to by tapping on the thumbnail. I think this could be improved to have a more consistent icon or visual language that takes users to this kind of preview across the app. So now that, say, I am interested on this episode, I'm just going to tap on play.
Today on the AI Daily Brief,
and it takes me to the player mode. I think the player page looks in general pretty well made. It's pretty clean and has the top level control at the bottom with the big play button in the middle. And there's a scrubber above it. You can change the speed. You can go forward or backward by tapping on those buttons. So I think this is pretty intuitive. And there's also a button switch to audio, which seems like taking me to the audio only option. Switch to video will, I guess, continue to play this with the video background. This is really interesting. So I guess this is actually a video that I can just go to the audio mode if I'm listening to that on the train. Overall, I think the player mode is pretty clear. It has a very intuitive navigation of how I can listen and do some basic controls while I'm listening to this episode. But the overall experience, I think the key pain point is really to find a piece of information that I am really interested on. It has a big variety of different kind of content, from music, podcasts to audiobooks and even live event. And as you see here, on the search page, there is a lot of options, from start browsing to discover something new, which looks like a section of short form videos, and then followed by browse all. Like, this is probably sorted by genres that I can, if I know the type of music I want, I can tap into it. The visual, it feels a little bit outdated. There are a lot of bright colors. The part I like is the covers has a consistent look, that each of them followed a same pattern. But overall visual language, I think some of them has the contrast issue. For example, this short form video playing has a very dark background, which makes it very blended into the background. So I think from accessibility point of view, there's definitely room to improve to make the content pop out more. And the overall design language feels quite overwhelming. And the grade system also seems not very well aligned. The visual hierarchy could be improved. For example, the title "Start Browsing" here seems like the size of the font is the same as some of the text in the category card, which makes them feels like equal weight. So it can feel a little bit confusing, like what is the hierarchy? And back to the homepage, I think the strength of this app is really that it has a massive collection of different kind of content, from music to podcasts to audiobooks to going back and continue to listening to something. Seems very intuitive. The journey is very clear and they're all accessible from top of the app. However, if I'm looking for something, like for a new topic I'm interested on, I feel like this is the part that this Spotify have a huge potential to improve. Provide features like filter, for example, filter by time it was posted, or filter by the length of the episode, ranked it by popularity. Also, I can see that maybe a curated view rather than just a list of equal weight information could probably guide a user in their journey to make the choice on what piece of content they want to listen to the most. So overall, I think to find a podcast with a specific subject, this is a journey that Spotify has a huge potential to improve on, to guide the user and land on a decision. So overall, this page feels like very dense in information, but lack of helpful metadata and more of a guided way to help the user get a sense of what they want you to listen to. Another aspect is, say that I'm interested to listen to this podcast, 7 Lessons for an Enterprise AI. Instead of showing this long paragraph of text, would it be possible to give like a quick, like an AI generated summary of what this podcast is about? I see that Spotify is getting to this direction, doing this kind of snippet. Maybe say I'm on a train or walking where I will be more leaning into audio than video. Like, how can I get that piece of information? Maybe it is AI generated voice summary that can give me a quick 30-second preview of what this episode is about. If I were a designer working at Spotify, I would love to conduct research, run some experiment to understand how can we best leverage AI to make the journey more helpful. Maybe it is to provide an AI generated voice summary, or maybe it is to offer a little entry point as an AI agent that I can just chat back and forth, because I think the magic power of Spotify is, number one, it has a huge, massive library of different kind of audio content. How do we connect that? How can we make the user experience more seamless by leaning into voice-first interactions? Saying I am on the go, driving or commuting, is there a way that without tapping, reading through the descriptions, can I just interact with Spotify with my voice? So overall, I think the app experience is intuitive. It has a clear information architecture, a couple of opportunities to improve. Number one, to help users find a piece of content that on a specific topic they're interested on. Number two, to provide more of a voice-first guided experience to help users navigate the massive library of audio content. Number three, to provide more helpful metadata to help users on decision making. Number four is having a more structured or organized way to present different type of content. Like, for example, looking at this dashboard, it has thumbnails, it has video, it has, music albums, it has videos. How to present different pieces of information at the right context so they could be more helpful and valuable to the user. I think that is also another perspective that if I were a designer working at Spotify, I would love to dive into and see how can we better structure those different type of content. I think through those kind of improvement, it could really help the company gain more user and drive the user engagement, a cleaner discovery, a more streamlined guided searching experience, and a voice-first interaction experience. I think through a combination of improvement, this could really help Spotify to drive the user acquisition engagement that will translate into longer listening time, which will present more ad opportunities for the company. Last but not the least, I noticed there is a separate tab for premium at the bottom nav bar. If the goal of the company is to upsell and get more users to sign up for the premium membership, I think there are a lot of potentials. This could be featured at a more prominent position. For example, in the dashboard, or as I am looking for a specific piece of content, before I click the listen, show me some premium member only feature to upsell the membership in a contextual way. This is all we have for today. If you have any thoughts or comments, please feel free to share with me. I would love to hear from you. I will see you next time. Bye.